Welcome to Garage Branders, the podcast that dives into the world of omnichannel commerce and highlights the innovators and trailblazers behind the brands driving today's connected retail landscape. Support for Garage Branders is provided by Tandem Tide, a performance marketing and omnichannel commerce firm, helping brands thrive in today's digital marketplace. For more information, visit them at tandemtide.com.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Brandy Alexander from Garage Branders, and Julie's here as well. Today, we have a very special guest with a fantastic story and a fantastic name, Sunshine, from Garden Works. And we're super excited to be talking to you, Sunshine. So we like to start these conversations by just kind of giving us your origin story and how we kind of got into this conversation.
Well, I always start with Sunshine is my real name. I was born in the Florida Keys, so nobody ever believes that, but it's true. And so kind of my career has spanned a whole bunch of different exciting things, but it's always been focused on marketing. I was a professor of marketing at UCF, and then went on to start my own agency at the same time, and was very focused on hospitality marketing for hotels. And after that, while I was doing that, found out about an opportunity for a financial services firm that they needed marketing. They had a product, but they didn't have any marketing. And so I became basically an affiliate of that firm. And out of the 10,000 affiliates they had, our team ended up being number 3. And we helped people get $1 billion in tax credits during the post-COVID period. So, and that involved tons of trade shows and building a brand from scratch, building a sales team and marketing and everything from scratch, and kind of doing every form of guerrilla marketing that we could think of, because it was a time-limited business. So then when that ended, my husband and I went into something called Acquisition Lab, which is a really cool program that helped us learn how to buy a business and how to analyze them. So we analyzed about 50 different companies, and we were looking for 3 things: recession resistant, so something that people would still do in a recession. Gardening fits that very well. The second was AI resistant. So I don't think robots are going to take over all gardening anytime soon. So that was good. And then third, that it needed what we're good at. And so what we're good at is he's great at tech and finance, and I'm really good at the marketing, and we're both good at sales. So this was kind of the perfect fit. So we bought it in August of 2024. And the first thing we did was a total branding overhaul.
Yeah, right. So tell us about the company. Tell us about Garden Works.
Yeah. So Garden Works has been around for about 33 years, since 1992, and has had 2 different owners over that time. They specialize in selling. We specialize in selling to independent garden centers, gift shops, and also hardware stores. So our products are the kind of things you would not find in Home Depot and Lowe's, because our customers want to have something special. So it needs to be, so we only sell to the small boutique-y, your neighborhood stores. We don't sell to the big box stores. And we do have some partnerships with, we do private label. So people, see our designs and want us to create their own line. So we've done that with Williams-Sonoma and Uncommon Goods. And we're working on projects for several other companies now. That's been a big focus for me, is building more of those types of business lines.
Yeah. And I saw your booth at the Inspired Home Show, and I love these giant buckets that you have.
Yeah.
And what I really like about them is the colors, honestly. Yeah. I mean, your booth itself just jumped out in the aisle because of all the colors and everything going on. And I just loved it. And these gloves, and just tell us about the product lines that you have.
Yeah, so we have several lines that are in rainbow colors, because we found over the years that that's what people want, and it really does grab the eye. And especially being able to put together kits and gift sets, like you can see on the screen. There's one that has matching, kneelers, gloves, a bucket, and you can have a whole set of. Even we have our soil scoop is our signature product. It's the first thing ever created, and it is a solid stainless steel made in the USA trowel blade that has a sharp edge, so it'll do weeding, it'll do digging, it makes everything better. It's kind of the thing people use every day, all day long, and they last forever. So they've been around for 33 years. We've had one return, and it was a guy who drove over it with his truck.
Oh my goodness!
Give them a replacement. So it's really they're like, you can pass them on to your grandkids kind of thing, and those come in all the colors too. So that's something that we really focus on. Is one big reason for that in gardening is you want to be able to find it, right? If you have a nice neutral brown thing in your yard and you drop it, you're not going to find it. But if you have a purple handled thing, it's a little easier. So that was some stuff we've learned over time is like, colorful cells. And we also have a line of the more kind of earthy, elegant stuff for maybe the Vermont, area up in California, Oregon. They want the earthier stuff. So we try to, provide what people are looking for. And it's the really fun part about it is the product development. So that's something that I've gotten really deep into is creating and coming up with new products in collaboration with like inventors in Europe and designers, and then like just prints that I love. And we've made things and then they sell out and it's really fun. So
all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah, it really is.
So when you guys took over, did you, what was like your first goals? Because you said the branding overhaul was the first one. So and what kind of challenges came with that?
Yeah, well, we kept on discovering more and more things that were terrible. And
you're peeling back an onion, I'm sure.
So the products are wonderful. So the products, are just heritage, beautiful, well-made, totally solid. There's no issues with any of those. Yeah. But the way they were presented, like all of our marketing flyers were done in like Comic Sans serif.
Okay.
They were just like, it was like about 20 years ago, that kind of style. So no use of modern technology or any, ways of making things look fresh. So we immediately hired, it was really funny. My husband had an ex-girlfriend who is actually a garden products designer. Packaging.
Get out.
Yeah. And she lived like right near us and she's super cool. So we all like went out and showed her all our stuff and she was like, yeah, I want to do this. So she was kind of behind, we hired her piece by piece to do branding. And then it just turned out so well that we kind of had her do, the catalog, the trade show booth, all the packaging, new products that we brought overseas. We had to do like a total fresh design. So we've been redoing all the packaging little by little. And it's going to take time for us to, of course, sell through all the old stuff and then bring in the new stuff that has the new packaging. But it's going to be really fresh and beautiful and cohesive because it was just random. Like it was just kind of like the guy who works in the warehouse was doing our branding. He was just like, here's a word and let's stick that there. And it was not.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying, like, I think a lot of times when businesses over the years, they just find someone that can just do it that's there, especially a small to mid-size like this. Yeah. And it's hysterical. Well, actually, one of the things Brandy's always saying is your network is your net worth. And I mean, that's a phrase that's out there. And literally, a former ex-girlfriend came in to be just a design partner on that. That's awesome. Yeah.
And that statement has actually been the theme of our life, serendipity, where we meet somebody and then that's like the perfect person for what we need and we didn't even know it. And then they have an opportunity that we're the perfect people for, like with the finance company. And now we've, at the Atlanta show we met some people who want us to do like licensing lines for celebrities, including like incredibly famous people. And they really like the stuff that we've made. And so they kind of crossed into our path and we're working on that now. So that could be a big game changer.
Like Martha Stewart.
Yes, I'm not supposed to say.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be a possibility.
But I mean, I am. I wouldn't say I have the greenest of thumbs, but I dabble. And just looking at your site, I love the options and just building out those product lines, like you were talking about with the colors and in the sets. To me, that like as a consumer, that appeals to me. Did you do any sort of market testing on that, or was it just really going with your gut on design?
It has definitely been going with our gut. And we do ask our sales team. So one thing that they had never done before is so we have a sales team of 70 people that are independent salespeople all over the country that call on garden centers and sell to them. So anytime I have a new idea, we have a call every month. That was something they never did before. So I was like, I want to go to the source, right? We do, when we go to trade shows, we ask customers, would you like this? I always bring samples and say, hey, does this look good? But really the people that have the finger on the pulse are the sales team. So I show them everything and get their feedback. And then that really helps a lot. So that's mainly been the way I've developed new products, because they've been doing this forever and they really know what people want.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're going straight to the source. You're hearing from what sells and what are your customers like.
Yeah.
So,
and we had a big success with a product. So we found this guy in France, and he, so my parents live in France. We go there all the time, and he made this thing called Germy. And so it was super cool, and it helps you grow plants faster from seed and better. And so he invented this thing because he had these heirloom seeds he was trying to grow, and he didn't know how. And so he made a thing to make them grow better and more reliably. And so, so we found it, we loved the product, but we're like, nobody in America is going to want to buy something called Germy. That doesn't sound appealing at all. So we actually,
they're not thinking germinate. No, they're thinking actual germ.
Yeah, germination, that's cute. In France, it sounds cute, but in America, no. So what I did was I went on Facebook. Well, first I went to ChatGPT and I said, okay, give me 20 names for this product, and got a bunch of them, found a few I liked, and then I threw it onto Facebook. I've got a big network on there. Said, hey, vote, which one do you like better? And Sprout Joy was the biggest winner. So we chose that name. Then we got our designer to make all new beautiful packaging. And it's really, we launched it in Atlanta and sold out. And now we're, on our third order already, bringing it over, because it's a really cool giftable kind of item that, and the package, but the branding and the packaging is really the key to what makes it sell.
So where can I find that on your site?
It's on, you could actually type in sprout-joy.com. That goes directly to the page. Okay. That's kind of the easiest way.
Sprout-joy.com.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to pull that up.
Yeah. So that was kind of our first branding success, where we actually named something, did the design, made it beautiful, and it actually worked. It's funny. We have some customers that are kind of too, it's too bright and cheerful for them, because they want more of the elegant things that look Japanese or something. So we might even make a different version that's kind of more sedate for those customers.
more the neutral tone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But I think for a lot of people, Sprout Joy captures how you feel when you grow something from seed. You're excited, and this is.
Well, Julie, you do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I'm not saying I'm very avid, but yeah, I mean, me and the kids and I will try and grow stuff. And is this for just any plant, or is this for someone that wants to grow some wheatgrass or?
Yeah, you can grow anything. Yeah. And it's mainly for just starting the seeds, and then you'll put them out in the yard and in the garden afterwards. So it just makes them much more robust with stronger root systems. So so we kind of used a lot of the graphics that he had from the French version, and then added in a lot of, to kind of explain how it works. And I think the next step, we're going to do some influencer marketing with this to get some, he did that a lot with great success in France and in the UK. So we're going to start getting that into the hands of people who can test it over here.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people use those little compostable pots.
Yeah.
And those never work for me.
Yeah. Because the roots have to get out of it. And
exactly. They get root bound, and then they just they just waste away. So I like that it's open at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. It allows the roots to really create their own strong system. And so then when you take them out, you just separate it. You don't dig or pull. You just open it and then take them out and place it in the ground.
So it's not traumatizing to the little plants. Oh my gosh, that's such a cool idea.
Keeps your baby plants happy.
Yes, absolutely. And your garden happy. I think, and I think this year, a lot of people, just from conversations I have, a lot of people are thinking about, digging in the dirt and getting started with their own gardens.
Yeah.
And
it's gotten trendy.
Yeah, it's definitely on trend. The only thing I grow are flowers, because I can't do vegetables. I do not have the patience for it. But like I said, all of those tools on there, you can't find that custom, that does that boutique design. I mean, like you said, you wanted something different from what's at Home Depot and Lowe's.
Yeah.
So are you selling this on marketplaces? Are you on Amazon and Walmart, or do you steer?
We kind of try not to do too much of that. We have one legacy partner that had been doing it really well for us. So we allow them to sell certain items on Amazon still. We have been trying to, just because we want to respect our customers, we don't want everyone to be at the garden center and see this thing and then go buy it on Amazon. So we want that they're the bread and butter, and they're the it's also just what we care about. We want these mom and pop shops to have reasons for people to come there and for people to be excited to buy something different. So we try not to go too broad with those. We will do like custom lines of some of our products that, that can go into larger stores. But the core is really, we try to reserve it for those independent garden centers.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Yeah.
We always get friends sending us pictures of finding it in the wild. And we love that when we're like, hey, I'm here in this town and I found your stuff. And especially those buckets, they're at almost every register at a lot of like Ace Hardwares. And so people just, once you buy one, you want 5 because you're like, I need one for this and this and this. And,
totally.
And it's just like, they're easy to clean. They're cheerful. They're, it really appeals to me because I like happy things. And we looked at so many companies. I was like, I don't want to sell shelving for warehouses. I don't want to sell like dental tools. I want to sell something happy and exciting and that I can actually like get behind. So you'll see our catalog is like all our family doing, all our family using the tools.
Oh, I was going to ask you. Yeah. So it's all family and people.
Granddaughter, my dad is a big gardener. So when I was a kid, we would go every weekend and we would go to yard sales all over DC where I grew up and buy old garden tools. So he would and then he'd come home and try them and he'd like propagate different vegetables and I'd help him. So it was like a really cool thing we did together and we still do. So, I can't wait to do it with my granddaughter and get out there and, show her how to make stuff grow. And it's such a satisfying feeling.
It really is. And that's like, what a great choice. Like you said, you wanted something happy and that people feel connected to. And I mean, gardening it's a stress reliever and you're making something happen.
Yeah. Like you get exercise, you get to be outside and you're making your home more beautiful and you might even get food. So it's
exactly.
Kind of the best hobby ever.
So I have a question about market research. I mean, it sounds like you work heavily on the product development side of things. We work with a lot of brand founders. We work with a ton of merchants. And I'm always interested in knowing, what your process is for that market research.
Yeah, so it is definitely talking to our sales team, but also trade shows. So we do a lot of trade shows. In our last business, we did 100 in 2 years. So we were just
my gosh,
warriors.
That's a lot.
We got really good at that. And so I love to try different lines, different hooks. Like, hey, have you tried this or what is this? And luckily with this product, it's so easy to get people to stop because they're like, what is that? I want to see it. It's a lot easier than a financial service thing that you have to explain very deeply that they don't know what it is. So, so it's easy and fun. And so I'll just show it to people and I usually will bring samples with me and show them to our bigger customers because every time we have a big show, I'll get a whole bunch of, products we're thinking about buying, bring them and have them like in a drawer. And I'll be like, hey, would you like to see all this stuff? So I'm really into that more, face-to-face, polling than. But yeah, and a lot of it is really gut feel. I'm not doing any formal, market research. We just kind of, bootstrapping everything.
So how much of how much do you do on social? I mean, we do a lot of social selling.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah. So I started up all brand new platforms. There was nothing. So we did Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. And so we have all of those things. And of course, we have the products listed in a catalog on Meta so we can tag them in posts. So I've been doing all of those things and posting videos, posting a lot of stuff on there. And we did a few ads in the beginning. I found Google ads worked better for us than Facebook ads because there's a lot of people searching for our specific products. And so that made it a little easier. And yeah, Facebook ads have always been my bread and butter, the thing I do the best. And it's been okay for this business, but really this is more of a hands-on direct thing. So I mainly look at our social as, making the brand seem that many people understand how broad and deep our brand is and to be able to engage with us. And it's going to take time to build it up. So it's been only, 6 months. It's getting there, but it's, I want to do a lot more with influencers. That would be the biggest, to do more direct social selling using influencers.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I love that. And, how much do you put yourself out there, associated with the brand, or are you just kind of relying?
It's me. It's fine. And that's because it works that people want to see. I feel like in the age of AI, the more real and even the more imperfect you are, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with me, like ads sometimes it'll be me in my car. That's actually the best ever is just a car video, or just me in my kitchen saying, hey, here I'm doing this thing. And those, or I find the best videos too are at the trade show when I'm walking around showing people our booth. And the really best one is when like a customer comes up to your trade show booth and you make a little video of their testimonial and then post that. That's been like something we love to do that.
Yeah.
I'm really into, testimonial stuff, and I want to that's another like new next step. I want to grab more of that because we hear all these wonderful, feedback from people, but we haven't taken the time to turn it into, social videos.
So what's the end game for you guys? Is it to really grow this, to acquire more brands? I mean, I that's what really interested me in your story.
Yeah, we want to be the preeminent independent garden brand. So we would probably do some of that through acquisition. So there's, complementary brands that we, like that are really high quality. If we could purchase them and fold them in. We have such a great name and a good history and a good network of sales people, and we're ready to grow. So our goal is to 10x and, in the next 3 years, hopefully. And that'll mainly be through large deals with custom lines for retailers or through licensing. Because there's only so many garden centers to sell to. And we want to keep it and grow it. And we'd love to, our granddaughter is almost 2 and we are raising her. She lives with us. So we want to train her in the business and have her take over, when in 20 years or so.
Family legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. We just love the idea of teaching her how to run a business. And we have 3 kids as well, and like to get them involved as they get, more specialized in different things that we need. So
cool. And where are you guys based? You're in Florida, right?
Yeah, Orlando, and then we have another house in Utah. So we're out here now in ski time.
Ski season.
Yeah, and the good thing about Utah is we have all 4 seasons. So and the gardening is really different here. So we have like these 2 gardens we can try things in
very different gardens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Utah is, in some ways, Florida is really easy because we can do all the fruit trees and everything is very lush, but we don't do as well with vegetables or bulbs or anything like that. So here we get to have the whole like spring and fall experience, and everything we grow does crazy good. They have good dirt here. So we put a pumpkin seed in the ground and then went out of town. We came back there. It had taken over the entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
There was 50 pumpkins. It was like 5 houses down the street.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. It just stuck it in the ground. So.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
We're not doing that again. Even though the whole neighborhood is ready for Halloween. But.
That's funny. Yeah. Cool. Well, what's your advice for other people in your situation where they're not necessarily a brand founder, but maybe they've exited a business and they're looking to do this on their own and acquire a brand? Like, what's your advice for people like that?
Well, you definitely want to look at the quality of the products and the network of distribution, the reputation. And that's something that was really important. We didn't want to be a commodity. We didn't want to just get something that like everybody has. I think one big thing right now is a lot of the things for sale are Amazon FBAs, and they're just one product. And to me, that was terrifying. I was like, I'm not going to dump all of our resources into one thing that someone could copy or make it cheaper, or someone could, Amazon could shut you down. Like that's we wanted to have something that was, varied and had a lot of depth and a lot of variety, because we have a lot of different types of things. So even if like gardening isn't so cool this year, well, we've got 40% of our sales are these amazing kitchen gloves that we have. So it's like, there's stuff that's people are always going to need. And I do think it's really important if you're acquiring a brand to do something you have a personal affinity for. And I think that with any job, right? I don't want to spend my time, whatever you're doing is pretty much the same thing, right? You're going to be making social posts and, doing financial planning and creating things and selling stuff. But if you're like, have no interest in the thing that you're doing and selling, it's kind of a drudgery. So I think just something that can hook you. And for me, if it's something that's helping people or making the world a better place, that's a positive outcome. It doesn't have to be like a nonprofit or a thing where you're directly like saving whales or something, but something where there's an outcome of bringing joy to people's lives. So for me, that was important, but mainly it's just that you really can get into this thing rather than just for the money. Right.
Right.
And you seem like you're having a blast too.
Yeah, I love the creativity and that the pretty, the idea of like making my garden dreams come true. Like I had this we had this apron and it was brown, and I was like, oh, it's really great apron. So I was like, hey, there's this print. I have this museum print that I really love, this black and black floral. We call it Midnight Bloom. So I found that print. I got everyone to make it, and then we launched it in Atlanta, and with that matching hat. And now everybody's like, oh, I want a matching kneeler, and now I want a matching, kitchen gloves. And so it's been selling really, really well. And that's like the most satisfying, because it's kind of, I've always been really into fashion. So I didn't realize that I would have the opportunity to, create fashion type things within a garden brand, but it's definitely a thing. I
appreciate, I love that print. I was looking at it. I'm like,
the Midnight Bloom. Yeah.
The cart.
Yeah. I wear it all the time. Every time I'm at a show, I'm just going to wear this thing. It's like so comfortable, and I can put everything in the pockets, and like, it's just
you're
great.
seeing the opportunity that's there that I think a lot of people wouldn't see. So you're combining your love of fashion and design and art with these tools that are out in nature. I think that's amazing. And to blend it into a business that you're growing and like gangbusters in 6 months is the dream. That is really the dream.
So far, it's been awesome. Brandy, one question, you did ask something about advice. And one thing I think is naming things, like giving things names. So both the products, like they had things that were just called like Traditions gloves. I'm like, that's boring. I made my gloves called Sylvan Shield, and my apron, because they could have just said like Black Floral, but I said Midnight Bloom. And then we have a program where we do private label, and I called it the Preeminent Private Label Program for garden, for retailers seeking garden brands. So I gave it everything a name, and I actually made like a PDF, a presentation to sell this thing, but I gave it a name first. And I think that's a big key that a lot of people miss, is just like, we're going to do this, but if you give it a name and you make a presentation and you have a thing, then it's a lot easier to sell than just like, talking or trying to explain it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And
when it has a name, people care about it.
Yeah.
So, right. And we're brand nerds too. So we love that. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sure I could learn a lot from you guys. It's something that I love, but I'm not an expert necessarily in branding. We've definitely gotten lucky with the people around us that have been able to help. But it is a lot of fun.
Well, and I think it also, for you, it's almost like you're your own target market. So you don't have to invest in, all of the market research, because you know what you like, what your friends like, and that makes it a lot easier too. And I think that goes back to saying, if you're going to acquire a brand, for example, I wouldn't go acquire like a beer brand because I don't drink beer and I don't understand that world. But like, look for something that you can really, kind of geek out on and be your own customer.
Yeah. And it's got to have potential. I've always said I'm on my own target market, because it's true. Yeah. I want to do something that is, me and my friends would use, and that we would be proud to have and use. But there's a lot of things out there, right, there's a lot of things that also appeal to me that I know I would never do, like a winery. You lose, it's just they're so beautiful and so awesome, but there's so much risk, and there's not any money. And it's like, you don't want to just pour your whole life into something, even if it's fun, that's going to tank, or that has that much risk. So we tried to find, the solid, at least level of this company had been stable, but not growing revenue for the last 10 years. So it's good. It's fine, but it wasn't, nobody had a fire to turn it into something new and different. It was what you call a lifestyle business, where it's like, you're making enough. The guy was doing great. He was making enough money to live the life of his dreams, but he wasn't like, hey, I want to like create an empire or anything. So, so it's a great foundation to build from.
Right. So do you ever worry a little bit about like bricks and mortar retail? I know that's a big part of your, where you're focused, but do you worry about that? Or do you feel like, people still like to go to stores?
Yeah, we've done a lot of analysis of our target market, and one of the coolest benefits, like when they talk about the SWOT analysis, that one of the biggest strengths that they have is people go there for fun. So people are going to Williams-Sonoma, Home Goods, these independent garden centers and these gift shops because it's fun to go there. It's not, and sure, you can go online and buy stuff, but you don't get to like touch and feel and explore and discover things. So it's more of a discovery space. The other thing too, a garden center, you can order plants online, but they're not any good. So you're going to want to, you want to see the plants. You want to talk to somebody who knows about plants. So there's always going to be bricks and mortar for garden centers. I can't imagine that ever going away because it's, I've ordered plants online and they're not very good. So it's, and also having the expert advice of someone who knows your area and what to grow and how to do, what kind of dirt and what you need. And then they can of course say, and you need a shuttle scoop and you need a
Exactly.
Yeah. So most of our garden centers just really love our products and they push them, every salesperson there, says, this is what I use. So you should use this too.
Well, and I love that because really, if you're targeting garden centers, I mean, you can't really order plants online. You can, but like
you said,
not really.
No.
So they're always going to be garden centers, I feel like, so
one thing I learned that was super interesting is that garden centers in places with really severe winters do better than other places. You'd think like Florida, we can garden all the time. So we have stable, like you always can go to the garden center. You can always buy stuff, but like places like Minnesota and things, they do way better. Their sales are much larger because of the whole like pent up, oh my gosh, I've been surviving this horrible winter. And now
I can tell you from experience. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We go spring crazy and just, I live in northern
She lives
Ohio.
in
Cleveland, and
it's a dream, right? You're dreaming of the day.
It's a sunny day today, and and it's like you have to. We call it fake spring.
Oh yeah.
And you really want to get out there and start prepping, but you can't because it's not warm enough. For the pollinators to come out, so we have to really wait until almost like Mother's Day and after.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was thinking earlier that I'm going to send my husband the link to your site because I always like, get me some of my gardening things for Mother's Day.
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of our friends buy. Like we have some friends here in Utah who have like 17 sisters-in-law, and they bought one for every one of them. And I'm like, that's awesome because it's like a great Mother's Day present, right? Everybody can, everybody wants. Gardening
tap into that spring fever.
Loves, I know, and it's really I've always, especially in hotel marketing, it was very similar. You're selling the dream, and most of our customers, the hotels that I worked with were in this west coast of Florida, and they really were mostly from Ohio. So most of the guests were like Ohio, Midwest, and so I loved being a part of giving them their dream. Right? It's like these people like. 2 weeks a year, they're going to come to this hotel and that's what they dream of all year round. So by having the social media, I'm feeding that and helping them remember that someday they're going to be back and out of this horrible snow. And having been I'm from DC, I grew up there. So it's I know, I hated it. All I could think of was I just want to be under a palm tree in the sun. Like that's, and you'd wait so long. And so I like being a part of like feeding that anticipation and joy of, springtime and growing season.
Right. I love that. Cool. Well, I think this was awesome. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Any parting words for our audience?
My pleasure. I would just say, go do it. Right. Like that's my biggest thing is I just start businesses when I have ideas and I just make it happen. And the worst that can happen is it doesn't work and you go do another one. But it's people are so afraid to try something. And it's like, if you love something and you believe in it, just give it a try and start small and grow and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and do everything yourself and, learn it and build it and see what happens. But it just lights you up,
Yes, I love that. And that's why I love having these conversations because, I do feel like people should just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you
guys.
So
this was a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, Sunshine.
Welcome to Garage Branders, the podcast that dives into the world of omnichannel commerce and highlights the innovators and trailblazers behind the brands driving today's connected retail landscape. Support for Garage Branders is provided by Tandem Tide, a performance marketing and omnichannel commerce firm, helping brands thrive in today's digital marketplace. For more information, visit them at tandemtide.com.